Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hope you're all doing fantastic today. A real big boss. Thank you so much for the 8 months. DJ Quakemz. That's right. That's a throwback, man. That's a real throwback. I was I was memeing about that moniker before, I think before Top Clack's existence, when I was just doing individual build streams. So guys, I have good news and bad news. Which one do you want first? Bogon, thank you so much for the 19 months, man. We're not accepting bad news today. Well, okay, so on the plus side, the bad news isn't really that bad. The bad news could be so much worse.
Ooh, very nice.
You want the bad news first? Okay. The bad news is I was having a lot of tech difficulties before the stream, and I wasn't able to accomplish everything I wanted to do before I went live. Such as desoldering this and lubing stabilizers for the rebuild that I'm doing today. I haven't done either of those things, and I was hoping to get both of them done before I went live. So the bad news is you have to watch me lube stabilizers and desolder at 60%, which neither of which should take particularly long. But you guys, if you know my history, I certainly have a history of taking forever to lube stabilizers. But I'll try to be pretty quick on these. So that's the bad news. OBS was not wanting to play nice with my camera, my desk camera, this one here, was just not working in OBS. It was working in every other source I was trying it in, but it was not working in OBS. And it was 2 hours ago when I set up a bunch of the scenes. So I was really, really, really scared that I wasn't going to be able to stream today, because OBS was being a real asshole, man. A real asshole. But I reinstalled Streamlabs. I disabled my video sources and re-enabled them. And alas, we seem to be okay. So fingers crossed, no issues. But if something does happen, I apologize in advance. But things are looking pretty well so far. So that's the bad news. So the bad news, once again, guys, I got to lube stabilizers and desolder a board on stream, but I'm pretty set up to do that, so it shouldn't take too long. The good news is I'm here, and so are you. And you know, we're hopefully all at a place in our lives where things are not too bad, right? We take days one day at a time. And I guess I'm slightly late here, so we can kind of officially start now. Welcome everyone to what I'm calling Mental Health Monday. And I don't necessarily want to call it a series, because I don't want to say it has like super specific keyboard related things that we're doing, but it's more of just, it keeps me a little bit more accountable, because I can stream an extra day a week, and it's something I'm gonna, hopefully really look forward to. I have a lot of keyboard stuff to do, guys. A lot of keyboard stuff to do. So this is gonna be kind of my for sure dedicated time of the week to do something keyboard related every week, because honesty and transparency, I'm gonna keep those at an all-time maximum, and tell you that, I've had better days. I've certainly had worse days, but I've had better days. A lot of you people with mental health issues probably realize that some days are better than others. Yeah, so my life's been kind of up and down lately, but we're trying to focus on the positive today, and there are a lot of things to kind of highlight, because a lot of good things in life. I mean, things could be so much worse, right? I'm sitting here and I have cameras and lights all around me, and I have fancy, delightful keyboards. This is the Allison, by the way, if anyone's wondering. Built this on my last build stream. Phenomenal board. Really looking forward to the group buy. But anyway, guys, yeah, so this is kind of Mental Health Monday. Again, it's not like a highly specific series, more so as it is to kind of spread a little awareness, You know, kind of keep myself accountable, maybe some of you guys accountable. You can join me during this time, and, you know, hopefully you can maybe just hang out, chill, and unwind a bit, relax, or maybe you can do some kind of keyboard stuff alongside me. You know, the choice is yours, of course, or nothing at all. You can just watch for the hell of it, and that's fine too. But yeah, that's kind of what this is all about. So this is kind of an excuse just to keep myself accountable, but, you know, hopefully some good becomes of it. So yeah, welcome to what I'm gonna kind of unofficially, at least for now, call Mental Health Monday, guys. And hopefully you're all doing fantastic. I'm having a pretty good day, aside from the OBS issues that I was encountering before the stream, but we got those resolved, and I'm here, and I'm not terribly late, and you guys are here as well, and that makes me happy. So yeah, let me know how you guys are doing today. 4-hour stream? No, it shouldn't be that long. No, it'll probably be somewhere around like 2 to 2.5 hours if I had to guess. Gotta loop stabilizers. It's a 60% build, so I mean, it won't take super long to solder. It won't take super long to desolder. This is you can't see it now because I wasn't as set up as I was hoping to be, I suppose. Get some of these things out of the way. One more. Oh yeah. Over to my other scene here. Get one more good look at my my wrist rest here before I set it aside, because it's super delightful. So yeah, I have some stabilizers to lube, and I have this to desolder. I do have a desoldering gun ready to go, so this shouldn't take me super long to desolder. I'd probably say at most 5 to 10 minutes. Stabilizers probably another upwards of 20 minutes to lube 4 of these. I'm a lot quicker than I used to be. And then we're going to rebuild my Fjell. So this is the current Fjell build, which is an aluminum plate that was included in the kit in the ultra hot colorway. This is a universal plate, as you might have noticed, so there's a lot of additional space there that, I mean, admittedly, I'm not a fan of, but hey, that's the trade-off for universal plates. I have a WT60D PCB, definitely one of my all-time favorites. It has the flex cuts, USB-C, programmable in VIA. Love these. I have several of these, and I will happily get many more. So that's going to be the kind of basis of our build here. We have lube creams too. We're going to repurpose this. Effectively, we're just going to remove this plate, slot in one of our new plates, and then kind of complete the build. So I have some really interesting options here. These are both custom cut wooden plates. I've already decided on which one I'm going to use today, but I'm going to show you both of them just for the hell of it. So this is a 3mm plywood plate. Plywood plate, guys. 3mm. It actually has, I don't know how well you guys can see this, but it actually has cuts for the switch to clip in. So even though this is a 3mm plate, the switches should still clip in here, and we love to see that. That's good stuff. So there you go. That's the plywood plate, 3mm. This is the one I'm going to be using today, and this one potentially a little bit more interesting as well. So this is a cherry wood veneer on a 1.8mm plate, and it is. Hold on, let me get my terminology correct here. I am not a wood expert. This was sent to me by someone for testing, but let me get this terminology correct so I won't look like a complete moron here. Okay, so this is a cherry veneer vacuum bagged with resin. So the reason it's done with that is to make it more durable. So it is, in theory, or at least it's, you know, I don't want to spend too much time messing around with it because I'm afraid I'm going to break it. But in theory, it's a little bit more solid than it would otherwise be if it were just wood. So it's kind of, I don't know, I guess bonded in some way with resin. So this is a very interesting plate. It looks, I think it looks really stunning. Like 1.8mm, but again, we have the little switch cutouts there for them to clip in, so pretty fancy stuff. Fixed layout as well, so we love to see that. Beard hair, that's just, you know, how it goes. That's also included, apparently. Alright, Skewed, thank you so much for the tier 2 for 27 months, man. You are a scholar and a gentleman. Morgan Carver, thank you so much for the 9 months. It says, Bry Guy, I came for that lush beard and Mechanisk products. Well, I have several, in fact. This is exactly where you want to be for both those things. So there you go, guys. That's the plan for today. And again, I'm going to be trying out the cherry wood veneer with the resin. I think that's a really interesting kind of plate, or at least it hopefully will be. So there's that. We'll save the plywood for another time. Maybe we'll test this out in another board, some different switches. I'd do both today if I had a hot swap PCB, but sadly I don't have a hot swap PCB in this layout. So yeah, no luck there. So we'll try out the plywood a different time. Stabilized with resin. There you go. Yeah, it should sound very unique. So that's why I'm really interested to try it out again. We're going to be using lubed creams, and it's going to be in my delightful ultra hot Fjell. And for those of you that have not seen this color before, it really is this vibrant in person too. Like, it's not just the stream. Like, this color is like actually real, and it's so amazing. This might be my all-time favorite color in the keyboard community that I've ever owned or used or seen. Really, really underrated. Absolutely love the ultra hot. Ultramarine is amazing too, but the ultra hot, just there's something extra special about it, and it kind of flies under the radar because like no one ever like talks about it or gets it. But absolutely love this. This is going to be the Fjell we're going to be using as our kind of test bench here. I have other tray mount boards as well, but I figured this one is probably like the nicest and best, well-rounded and sounding of my tray mount options. So that's why we're going to be using the Fjell today. That looks sexy. It really does. It really does. Static Age says, my U4T switches showed up in the mail. Nice, nice. I still need to use mine. I think mine are currently with Langlandia for lubing. So once I get back those, I can definitely give those a try. I hear pretty good things. Yeah, so there you go. You guys now know the plan. I have to desolder this, and I have to lube some stabilizers, and then we can get to the building. So I apologize in advance. You guys need to see me lube stabilizers and desolder. I know it's just about the most boring thing that you could possibly witness on a stream. But we'll try to get through this quick, and then we'll get to the fun stuff. I like fun stuff. But yeah, tell me how you guys are doing today. Again, Mental Health Monday. We can talk about mental health as well. Throughout this stream, I'm going to be sharing maybe a couple small stories and things in my life that you know, some others might be too scared to share, which is why I want to be the one doing it as well, because some things are, you know, a little embarrassing or a little confusing or scary or things of that nature. So hopefully you guys will join me on that as well. Maybe we can give each other advice. We can share some things. We can have really oversaturated lighting on the Allison for some reason. I'm not really sure why that's happening. It's because of the black mat, maybe. Oh well, I don't know. You trust that guy to lube switches for you? Yeah, shit, man. I trust Lang with pretty much anything. Lang is such a fantastic guy. He's, speaking of mental health, he's helped me a lot over the last year or so. He just messages me periodically, asking how I'm doing, gives me advice, talks to me. And yeah, I've been meaning to send him switches to lube for a while, because I know he was looking for some things to do. And I need to find someone to lube switches for me, because I'm usually too lazy to do it myself. Partially for laziness, and I guess partially for mental health reasons too. It's so hard to bring myself to want to spend, you know, any amount of time lubing switches, you know, even for myself, especially for myself. I lube switches more often these days for other people than I do myself. And that's something I'm hopefully gonna kind of work on, because I have a lot of switches that need to get lubed. Let me give you guys a little tour of something too. Just give a quick office tour to show you kind of what my mental health looks like in my office. So you guys can just come on this little tour with me. This won't be super amazing, but just give you a little idea. I've been trying to like clean up my office a bit and organize some things. So like over here, this is like most of my Switch collection. I have 25 of these containers. Yeah, so I organized a lot of my Switches, and there's this enormous, I have huge hands, so you guys know how enormous this is. This enormous bag of like random spare Switches of pretty much any and all types and any and all manufacturers. So I got tons and tons of Switches over here. Over there, you can see like this huge box is a bunch of keycaps and like some other component stuff in there. This is kind of like, this is my area of like stuff I need to like do stuff with. So this is like a bunch of tools. Here's 3 bags of Switches I need to lube for other people. My lubing station. This is Cafe that I took off the Fjell that we're going to be rebuilding. And all these boxes back here, you can see all these boxes. This is a Dollinger that I need to rebuild for Jay. That's the box for the Allison that I need to send back. Those are 2 boxes that have keyboards that need to be sent back to their owners. This one as well. This was the Evolve that I did recently. Here, look how bad this is too. Down here, this is the top drawer for my kind of IKEA drawer system, which is over here. This like, I only have so much cable, so I can't drag it over here, unfortunately. But this like white drawer over here. So yeah, there's that, and that like I mount the camera. I don't know if you can see this, but I mount the camera on a boom arm on the top drawer of the drawer system, which is why this drawer is out. I can't mount it anywhere else because there's nowhere else in the room I can safely put it. And if I put it on my desk, it just it's bad times, because obviously the desk, while it is relatively stable, if there's any kind of movement at all, the arm will move, and then thus the camera will move, and it'll just be a wild, shaky mess, and it'll not be a good time for anyone. So that's kind of my super janky setup. I have like more stuff that I didn't show you like over here, but it's kind of a disaster, but it's cleaner than it's been in a while, ironically enough. So there is that, guys. Yeah. Anyways, do they laser cut the holes in that plate? I think so. I'm pretty sure they were lasered in. I mean, I don't really know how else you do it, right? Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly certain they are lasered. Yeah. Alright guys, Static H says, man, my mental health has taken a huge positive boost thanks to the vaccine and being able to see other humans still in a safe manner now. We got to take the kids to the beach this weekend, and even just that was nice. That's awesome to hear, man. Yeah, I know the obviously the pandemic, the isolation, the quarantine, that really hit a lot of people hard. It hit a lot of mental health, you know, a lot of mental health issues arising with people because of those things, because you know, you think of humans, and the vast majority are very social creatures. We're just so used to interacting with each other, you know, living near or with people, you know, is mutually beneficial, like, for the human race. So, like, we're so used to all this interaction, and, you know, it's because of that, we haven't really had it. And I have a few friends that are like that, too, very social people, you know, that had very strong attitudes, very, you know, very positive mental health, like, no issues at all. And, you know, their mental health has tanked a lot since the beginning of COVID. So, yeah, I can't relate directly because I've always been kind of an inside introvert, anyways. But I totally feel you, man. I totally feel you. That's great to hear, though. Great to hear you're doing a little bit better now. All right, I should probably get to desoldering this so this doesn't take forever. And by the way, for the record, guys, I am planning on I am planning on doing streams every Monday. Probably the same time, 4 p.m. Pacific. If another time works better, I'd definitely be open to switching, but this works pretty well for me. So I'm just heating up my desoldering gun now, and I'll probably temporarily mute myself for a couple minutes while I desolder, just because it's absurdly loud, and I'd rather you guys not have to listen to that. Hopefully I won't have to do too much desoldering on stream, on any stream. I'm going to send a wait to Lang to Patina down the road. Lang is pretty great. He is. He's one of the best and most genuine people I've met. Not even just in the hobby, just in my life. I'm going to hopefully get this name right. I was trying to pronounce it phonetically ahead of time. But it's let me know if I get this right. Is it Dicynodont? Dicynodont? He is the designer of this plate, the plate that we're using today, or the creator of this plate, I should say. Perfect. Dicynodont. Okay. Okay, should be good from here on out then. Anyways, he's in the chat. He says, "Hey all, so I'm the designer of the cherrywood plate. It's my first keyboard product, so I'm stoked and nervous at the same time to watch an OG use it in a live build." Yeah, we're gonna be obviously, as usual, we'll be very honest today, and we'll be giving our real thoughts as usual. Is that a spacebar macro pad? A spacebar macro pad? I'm not sure what you're referring to, Lord. IP9932, thank you so much for the 19 months, man. Alright, my soldering iron, or desoldering gun rather, should be good to go now. So I'm gonna desolder this. I'm actually gonna open the window before I do this. That way I don't completely inhale a bunch of soldering fumes. That's never what we want. In fact, I'm even gonna open the door for a bit of a cross breeze here. All right. Oh, you're a geologist. Okay. Extinct proto-mammal from the Triassic epoch. So much terminology I've never used before. All right. So I'm gonna temporarily mute myself. This shouldn't take me very long. Desoldering tends to be pretty quick with this thing, and this is only at 60%, so should be pretty quick, guys. So I'm just gonna mute temporarily. Enjoy the music. Ask questions in chat. I'm here to answer anything I can. If you have any stories, feel free to tell us some stories as well. Mental Health Monday. What's going on in your life? What are some good things that are happening to you? Maybe what are some bad things that are happening to you? Any advice for any of us? Things of that nature. Feel free to just go ahead and put that in chat, guys. And I'll try to get to questions and stuff as soon as I can. Morgan Carver was asking, we going with GMK Cafe on the Ultra Hot again? That combo worked well first time you built it. I'm not sure yet. We absolutely do not have to use that, he said. But you're right. I think it looked oddly well, oddly fantastic actually on the E Ultra Hot. So I don't know. It'd be easy because I already have it just right here sitting out, and it's already kind of sorted for more or less this layout. But I could throw something else on there too. We'll get to that stage. We'll get to that stage. Also, guys, let me know how loud the music is. If it's too quiet or too loud, please let me know. Or if I'm too quiet or too loud. Alright, guys. Hopefully that's all the desoldering I need to do. Hopefully. Hopefully. But we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully all these switches come out very, very smooth. You know what I need? Find my spudgers, because those usually work a lot better than me. I don't like these tools very much. I feel like they never work that well for me. I'm taking out switches. So guys, what is everyone grateful for today? What is everyone grateful for? I am grateful for all of you guys. I'm grateful for the keyboard hobby, however imperfect it might be. It's been quite a journey. It really has, and I've certainly evolved as a person, changed as a person a lot, for the better, I'd say. Largely because of this hobby and the people that I met in this hobby. So that's what I am thankful for today. Hopefully you guys have something you're thankful for as well. I think gratitude is a very powerful thing. It's actually scientifically proven that gratitude is a very powerful thing in your own life. One of the best things that you could actually do is something nice for other people. It chemically has a huge impact on your brain positively. I feel like these switches are just very tight in the plate. But that's okay, we're getting there. All the viewers left because they saw me desoldering. Don't worry, I understand. I wouldn't want to watch that either. I was really hoping to have it done before the stream, but sadly I could not. Miano says, enter the hobby in March 2020 and still haven't received the first group buy I went in for, Cat Atlantis. This hobby requires a lot of patience. Oh man, yes. Patience, very important in this hobby. It's pretty rough to have to wait that long for your very first group buy, but I guess that's just how it is sometimes. I'm no stranger to that. I've certainly waited well over a year. I think over 2 years on some group buys even. Definitely need the patience. Definitely need the patience. That's okay. that's kind of just how this hobby works, right? I mean, you're putting a lot of faith, you're putting a lot of stock, and you're obviously putting your own money into people of the hobby, like people like yourself. Like, yes, they're businesses now, like they're vendors. There's lots of them now, but at the end of the day, it's just a lot of people like you and I, right? Keyboard enthusiasts that became passionate enough to do more. And obviously, I'm not saying we shouldn't hold them accountable, because that kind of just comes with the territory of being a vendor and such. But I definitely feel for it, man. I definitely feel for everyone. A lot of patience. A lot of patience. Get all these out. Did I do a good enough job desoldering, or did I mess up one of these? I might have messed up one of these. Sorry if this is loud, guys. Okay, there we go. There's the old plate that we're using. This is the an E Ultra Hot aluminum plate, universal. We're going to be swapping it up for a fixed plate, which is fantastic. Obviously, the Ultramarine went pretty well with the Ultramarine, but I feel like the Ultra Hot will go pretty darn good with the cherry wood too. Right? That's actually kind of a nice combo. I will say that. I have had bad experiences with wooden plates in the past. I've used them in a couple builds, but I haven't been very happy with them in the past. And you know, I'm always interested in trying out new things, trying out different things, and this was definitely one of those experiences where Dysynodont was like, "Hey, like, I have this cool new wood plate. You want to check it out?" And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I like checking out new things, but historically, wood plates and I just haven't really gotten along. But you know, this could totally change my mind, and especially alongside something like the Fjell, I feel like that's going to be a nice choice here. Okay, I'm going to remove this mat temporarily, take these stabilizers out, and lube up the new stabilizers. So we'll set this aside for now until we need to do some soldering. Trying to get my lovely desk mat too dirty. They always get dirty. They always get there, but you know, we can hopefully extend that period a little bit. Mr. Petrov says, I'm grateful for my son who set his own alarm clock this morning to make sure he got up on time for school. First time he's ever done this. That's awesome, man. Growing up, right? Becoming a young man. I need to find my 205 grade 0. Pretty sure this is 205 grade 0. Tweezers, brush, lube, stabilizers. We're looking good here. Turning off my desoldering gun. Hydrating, that's important, guys. So yeah, trying to get through all these the boring parts of the stream, guys. Bear with me. We're done desoldering. Now we just need to lube some stabilizers. So these are, I actually haven't tried these yet. These are the newest Novel Keys stabilizers with the new packaging. I believe that they are just Durock recolors. I'm almost positive of that. So there shouldn't be anything terribly special about these, but they're the new Novelkeys branded stabilizers with fun packaging. Kind of wasteful packaging, if I'm being honest. Like, it's cool, but it's a lot of plastic and styrofoam for this. I'm grateful for the ocean and that I live so close to it. Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, I can't really take that for granted either, because I grew up on the Puget Sound. I grew up right on the water, man. I spent so much time swimming, snorkeling, scuba diving, even. Prize and GMK Dracula. Yeah, man. Yeah. Alright, so we're gonna be going with 4 stabilizers. I'm gonna split the right shift, but I'm gonna use normal backspace because this is a fixed plate, so this is the layout I'm gonna be going with. 1, 2, 3, 4 stabilizers. I could reuse the 3 stabilizers that are in there, but I think I'm all out of cherry stabilizers, so I don't have another one for that. So we're just going to completely redo this with some new unused lube stabilizers. Lunar Summit, thank you so much for the 38 months, man. That's a long time, man. That's a long time. So these kind of have their own little, I don't know, color scheme to them, I guess. These translucent inserts, and they have black housings. So that's kind of cool. Little contrast in the stabilizers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we need some screws. Two. All right, we're looking good. Definitely some interesting stabilizer packaging. Jaysha, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs, man. That's super kind of you. It's a pleasure to see you here, man. Did you ever meet a giant octopus in your underwater adventures by the sound? I never did. I never did. Granted, I didn't spend like a ton of time diving. I went on a large handful of dives in my very kind of short career, I guess. So yeah, I didn't see any of that. I did sort of play with a seal, which was freaking amazing. Really, really good on the mental health. They really kind of are just like water doggos, and that was a lot of fun. He was just very happily and playfully swimming around us during a dive, and it was he was very curious, and it was incredibly adorable. Late to today's party. What kind of wood is the plate? Okay, so this is a let me show you real quick. This is the plate we're going to be using today. It's a cherry wood veneer that I think has been sort of kind of bonded with resin. I forget the exact terminology here. Hold on, let me find it. Vacuum bagged with resin for strength. So there you go. So 1.8 millimeter, but it does have the little notches cut out, so the switches will clip into the PCB, or the plate rather. Alright, so I'm going to do a quick lube on this. It shouldn't really take me too long. I don't really fully lube stabs anymore. I kind of just lube to get rid of the noise. Because these days, especially with like a lot of the Duroc ones, they're a lot smoother than a lot of the older Cherry ones used to be. So you don't really need to lube like the inside of this housing or like the outside of the insert very much anymore. So you kind of just lube the little hole of the insert where the wire goes, and then where it clips in to the housing. Those are the real main points to lube. But I do like a lot of lube there, so a lot of lube in that hole, and somehow I don't mean that sexually, as well as a lot of lube kind of on the ends here of each stabilizer. But definitely a quicker process for me than it used to be. So basically we just try to get a fair amount of lube and good consistent coverage inside this hole. And then we'll just put that into the housing. And we'll do that for all of them, and then we'll lube up the wires, basically. Should only be like, roughly like a 10 to 15 minute process for this. Surf with a pod of dolphins yesterday. Wow, seriously? Including several baby dolphins? Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun, man. Surfing with dolphins, like what the heck? Sign me up for that. Except I wouldn't be very good at surfing. That would be pretty comical. Play with your seal? Oh, you. Oh, you. You silly. How was everyone's weekend? Anyone do anything really exciting? Super exciting? Everyone doing more things now outside socially now that vaccinations are a thing? Shout out to my fully vaccinated homies. Ate out for the first time in over a year. Oh man. Yep. That's a good feeling. I too did that for the first time not too long ago. I went to my favorite Vietnamese place. Got an amazing bowl of pho. Well, actually, it wasn't technically pho. It was like a soup similar to pho, but involving a lot of pork. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I like a lot of pork. Yeah, man. It was truly amazing. Truly, truly amazing. Anybody get into the Anybody managed to pick up a Baka Neko today when it was in stock? I woke up early to try to get one. I didn't think it would sell out very fast, so like I set an alarm, and as soon as it went in stock, I added it to my cart and tried to check out, and it was out of stock. So I was kind of big sad this morning because of that. I was hoping to pick up a Baka Neko, but it sounds like it probably won't be too long before they come around again, so very much looking forward to that. I'll have to try again next time. I didn't realize the board was popular enough to sell out in, you know, a minute or so. At least on the first color that I tried. Which was Aqua, which admittedly is probably one of the more popular colors, I would assume, at least. Lube up that wire as well as where it clips in. And there we go. Shouldn't be too long of a process. Yeah, a little bummed about that, but hopefully it won't be too long before more Baka Nekos in stock. Seems like a really cool board. And while there's so many like big fancy boards always coming out lately, I really do think that kind of entry level to mid range is the most interesting portion, because I don't mean any offense to any designers or anything, but I feel like if you're making a really expensive board, it's not that hard to make it like really cool, right? Like if you're talking about like a $500, $600, $700 class board or more, chances are it's going to be pretty badass. Chances are. But you know, if you have like $130 board, $150 board, $200 board, you know, not all of them are amazing. And I feel like to be able to get, you know, 100% out of a board like that is really, really fascinating to me. And that's why I'm kind of all about that lower end, you know, kind of board spectrum. Partially because I honestly can't really afford the more expensive ones the majority of the time. However, I can usually slip in some of the cheaper ones here and there a lot easier. So when you have boards like the Polaris, for example, obviously not like super entry level or super budget friendly, but you know, it was still relatively inexpensive for how great of an experience it gives you. And I feel like we're seeing a little bit more of that lately with a lot of other boards as well. And it's awesome. That's like really what I want to see the most of, is like boards that people coming into the hobby can buy without spending, you know, $500 to $1,000. Boards that, you know, you can come in and you can pay $100, $150, $200 for. And that gets you, you know, well into the hobby and gives you something fantastic to type on, you know. I think that's always going to be the fascinating space for keyboards for me. I'm all about that value. I'm always hunting for a bargain. And while usually those, you know, $600 plus class keyboards feel and sound great, it's always more interesting and fun to me when the cheap ones feel and sound great. Static Age says, and I managed to get one this AM. The trick is to use iPhone and Safari and Apple Pay. I had it checked out in under 10 seconds. Wow. Yeah, that's clearly why I went wrong. I'm on Android, and I went with Google Pay. That was clearly not fast enough. So, unfortunate for me, but hey, it gets more in the wild, and there'll be more soon. I'm glad for Canon keys that the board is successful as it is, because it seems, though I haven't tried it yet, I've heard some good things, and it seems like an awesome amount of value for the price. And obviously it's a cast case instead of CNC. It's painted instead of like anodized or cerakoted. So there are some corners cut, if that's what you want to say. But at the end of the day, you're sacrificing things that might not really be that integral to the typing experience for things that might actually be integral to the typing experience. For example, the O-ring gasket, the FR4 plate, the PCB, things like that. So really, really interested to check one out. So hopefully you enjoy yours, and hopefully I can get one soon. I'm almost done with these stabs, guys, I promise. Orb and Warb are running soon too. If you want that mounting style on the cheap, should be like $200 or so. I haven't even seen that one. Can you link that one for me, Static Age? If you would be so kind. Imagine we'll be back soon. I thought that was the point of the different manufacturing approach. Yeah, that too. The first round launched in April, right? Like not even 2 months ago, and like then it shipped, and then the next round went in stock this morning. So if that's the kind of timeline we're looking at, I'm not really that unhappy about it. I can wait. I can wait. I can try to be patient. That's what this hobby has trained me for, right? Morgan Carver asking, how do I feel about the Monike X TGR Tomo? To be honest, I'm not that interested in it, but that's not because it's not like a nice high-end board, because I'm sure it'll be, a nice board, as pretty much all TGR stuff winds up being. I have nothing against TGR or Monike, but it's just, for me, I don't really care. It's a layout that doesn't really interest me. It doesn't seem that like super new and inventive. We're not really gonna see like a monumentally different typing experience, which is what I'm way more interested in. A lot of people are all about things like like colors and aesthetic these days, and I think that's totally fine. However, it doesn't really interest me. I care a lot more about what a board is like to type on, what it sounds like, what the experience is like when you're actually using the board, when the board is performing. That's what I give a damn about. And while I'm sure the Tobo is going to be good, it probably won't be anything new to me, and that's why I don't really care. I'm sure if you enter the group buy and you get it, you'll probably like it. It'll probably be a good product, but maybe not for me. I'm kind of done with the days of just buying really nice boards for the sake of really nice boards. I need more than that these days. Shoot me a PM later. Okay, cool. Thanks. Heading out the door to get ice cream with the kids. Hey, man. Nice. Let us know what flavors you get. I want some ice cream. Hello, Taco Game. How you doing, man? Mart, how's it going? I've heard that Apple Pay trick works pretty well. I guess I'm just not in the know. I should have known better. Alright, so stabilizers lubed up there. Hopefully those are good. We'll, of course, test them before soldering. And let's go ahead and swap these stabilizers, get these bad boys out, get the new ones in, then get that plate on. I bring good news and bad news. Uh-oh, do you? Well, let's hear it then. Hopefully hopefully the good news is good and the bad news not so bad. Good as I got 2 big commissions, bad as I got 2 big commissions. And that means a lot of work. Oh yeah, what do you do? If you don't mind me asking. But I mean, if you're getting commissions, I would probably lean more towards that being a good thing. Because I feel like if you're being commissioned, you're in a field of work where you can be commissioned. And generally speaking, in a field where you can be commissioned, it's probably a field of your own choosing. Which hopefully means you're enjoying it at least. That was a really long-winded way to say what I was trying to get to. Digital illustration and painting. Okay, cool. So is that a hobby for you, or is this your job? By the way, guys, as you can probably tell from the title, Mental Health Monday. We're trying to chill today. We're trying to vibe. We're trying to be wholesome. If you have any good or bad mental health stories, feel free to share. If you have any advice for any and all of us, feel free to share that as well. We're a family here today, guys. And drink your water. Stay hydrated. OMG, that WT60D is so nice. Philbin and Leandrin were meant to make PCBs together. Yeah, no, this is stellar. Like, I love it because it has like the perfect feature set for me. Like, it's not like overly complicated. You know, it's not like a super Swiss cheesy layout. It supports a lot of basic layouts, but it doesn't go overboard, which I like. It has the flex cuts, which I'm a big fan of. VIA support and USB-C. You know, pretty standard on a lot of things these days, but still don't want to take those for granted because I very much remember a time when it was, you know, raw Q, like you had to actually do the QMK yourself, or you had to use something like Gigon or Bootmapper Client, which are both, you know, not nearly as intuitive as, you know, the new QMK or VIA stuff. And, you know, I very much remember a time where no keyboard used USB-C, so I try not to take those things for granted. Great feature set. And it looks lovely, too. Yeah, it is good. I'm enjoying it, but it's still a lot of work. Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't envy you. Currently hobby, but want to turn it into a job. Nice, nice. Ozai Obsessions, good morning to you as well. How are you traveling today? I'm doing pretty well. This is going to be a slightly longer stream than normal, just because I wasn't as prepared as I should have been. So I was having tech difficulties beforehand, but we got there, and we're making some progress. So now I'm actually ready to build, hopefully. So let's go ahead and put some stabilizers in and give these a test. Yeah, things going relatively well lately. Mentally, I feel like it's pretty much always up and down, but it's been substantially better lately compared to, you know, about a year, 8 to 12 months ago, when it was significantly worse for me. So I'm trying to be grateful for a lot of the things that I have, because all things considered, my life could be so much worse, and I feel bad for people that do have it worse. The older I get, the more I realize how confusing and unfair life often is. Really, really confusing, really unfair, and often just brutally savage. And that sucks, right? But, you know, as a lot of people will tell you, that's just life. And while I don't necessarily like to abide by that, I do try to remind myself that there's a lot of good things in life, too. It's kind of like a miracle that we're alive at this point in time, you know, right? Like, it could have been anyone, it could have been any time. It could have been anywhere, in theory, too. Like, we know so little about the universe. Just existing already feels like you kind of... not won. I don't want to say won the lottery, but you know, it's just like a surprise that it can already happen, right? These are the kind of things that I think about. But regardless, you know, life is crazy, but life can also be good. There's a lot of beautiful things in life, and I'm kind of getting to the point where I don't feel like there's necessarily a meaning to life. Like a lot of people think that. For example, you have to have kids. You know, you have to procreate. You have to, you know, pass on your family name and legacy, or you know, whatever. Like that's just a random example, but you know what I mean. Like a lot of people think that there's like a purpose to life. I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, we're just creatures, just like most other living beings on the world, on the planet Earth, and you know, we've kind of just evolved to this point. I'm not religious, as you could probably tell. And we kind of just got here, and I don't think there really necessarily is or needs to be some kind of higher purpose or crazy destination we're heading to. I think life is kind of just all about experiences, both good, bad, neutral, and otherwise. And I do think that if we're going to do something, if we're going to live on this planet and do anything, I feel like what we need to do is really kind of work towards the future of not only preserving the planet, but trying to find like a lot of ways off the planet onto other planets and try to explore space and things like that a lot more. Because I mean, that's kind of our future, right? Like if humans want to survive, you know, past a certain point, we have to by default have to leave this planet. So that's always been kind of interesting to me. All right, stabilizers on. Hopefully they're good. We'll give them a quick testy test. Oof, that is really tight around the stabilizers. Really tight. We hopefully are going to be okay here. Alright, I was about to be very sad because that wouldn't have been the first time I wasn't able to do a build because the stabilizers wouldn't fit into the plate. Alright, these seem okay though. Hopefully it's not too tight on the housing to pinch it, but we take this as it comes, I suppose. I have a very specific bag for my stabilizer screws. Anyways, guys, sorry about the rant, but that's kind of what goes on in my head sometimes. Welcome to the insides of Quakemz brain. What kind of wood is the plate made of? It's a cherry veneer that's been kind of bonded with resin for a little extra stability and durability. With that said, this plate actually is like pretty flexible, all things considered, and the PCB does have flex cuts, so should have a little bit of softness in this typing experience. Doesn't matter if someone has it worse. It does not invalidate or take away with your own struggles. You are worthy and allowed to be bummed over your own circumstances. Yeah, well said. And I fully agree too. I don't mean to say that, you know, I should be thankful because other people have it worse. I very much have realized over the last year that you cannot ever generalize human beings. You cannot say that everyone's the same. You cannot say that everyone struggles with this or that in the same ways for the same amount of time, you know, comes at it the same. You just can't do that, right? It's just not how this goes. Everyone's different, and we're all valid. All right, we're gonna go ahead and throw a few switches in here and test these stabilizers. Hopefully I don't destroy this plate. I'm a little worried about how tight this is. It seems to be working so far. Not sure there is a meaning. I think we create meaning and purpose. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I completely agree. Yeah, I don't think there's like one like human mission, right? Like one all-powerful purpose that unites us all. Nor does there necessarily need to be. I don't think having or not having that is inherently good or bad. I think humans just kind of are, right? Like we're just kind of, we just exist. There we go. Once I get a handful of these switches in, it should be a little bit easier. But the plate is a little tight and a little flexible, so it's kind of hard to get these clipped in, which is kind of to be expected. The first several are always the most difficult on a flexi plate in particular. I found Hans Rosling factfulness a good antidote to the idea that things are awful. In the grand scheme of things, we are lucky to be alive right now. Yeah, exactly. Reject modernity, embrace single-celled sea-dwelling organism lifestyle. Wow. Maybe. Be interesting to be a sea creature. Although I guess like you wouldn't really necessarily know, right? Because like that would just be your life. Okay, I'm gonna try not to break this spacebar area. A little worried about it. Okay, nice. Wood can give a bit. All right. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I just know it's a slightly slower process to get started here, but that's okay. Probably test these stabilizers before I get too many of these switches in. All right, keycaps. We'll use these because they're right here. Those three sound good, at least. All right. We'll take that. That's good. Crap, I pulled my Switch out. You know how hard this was to get in? Alright, good. I don't have to take these back out. And that makes me happy. Speaking of giving life a meaning, I designed a desk mat and should be on group buy in some time after a few things get sorted. Nice. So does the wood plate allow for that click when the Switch is seated in the plate properly? Or is the wood too soft for the tactile feedback? That's a really good question. I don't know. I've had my headphones on, so I haven't really been able to listen to them actually click in, although I think they have been, since they have the cutouts for it. I honestly can't really tell. That sounded like it clicked. Nice. Okay, so I think the trick to using this plate is to actually start in the middle and kind of work your way out with the switches. That way I think you have a little bit more stability overall. If it breaks, you can call it a custom flex cut. That's a fantastic point. I love that positive outlook. That's good stuff. Plate looks awesome, right? Not too bad. If we can't remember how to take care of the Earth's ecosystem, how can we possibly create one on a different planet? Exactly. I think humans have a significant amount of flaws. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. However, it's kind of just human nature to make it a bad thing, right? All the greed in the world, the hostility, things like war. We solve issues by sending people from different countries to kill each other. Like, what? It's kind of weird. Like, when you really think about it, isn't that like kind of weird? I don't know. It feels like a lot of the systems that we currently have in place, a lot of what we do just doesn't really make sense, like in the grand scheme of things. And I feel like no one really thinks about it or recognizes it or really talks about it. We kind of just go about our daily lives and pretend nothing bad is happening. And that's understandable, but scary unto itself, right? Morgan is asking, did you get one of the new hot swap boards from Mechanisk? It's got the best layout for ONZ, or at least my favorite. It'll be nice having one from a test board. I didn't realize there's a new one. Was it the one that he ran in the newest round, the spring 2021 pre-order? So I did see a hot swap PCB there, and it did look like a pretty ideal layout. I did not pick one up though, but if I pester Leandrin enough, he might give me one. Not that I should pester him for one. Which layout is it? Is it this layout? Is it normal backspace but 7U bottom row and split right shift? I actually don't remember what the layout on it was. The only thing I'm a little bummed about in this is it looks like it's normal caps lock versus stepped, which is of course just a preference thing. Doesn't really matter, but there's that. I feel like it's been a while since I've used a board with normal backspace and normal caps lock. I feel like that's very rarely a thing. For me, at least. Yes, that layout. Cool. That's awesome then. And I imagine it's you know, designed by Wilba, which is always nice to see as well. I'm glad that Mechanisk is getting a hot swap option though. I think that's awesome. You know, Mechanisk tends to make a lot of boards that are pretty good for people entering the hobby, and I think hot swap is another one of those things that, you know, a lot of us like to hate on it, you know, for one reason or another. But in reality, it's, despite the flaws, it's still pretty awesome for a lot of newer people entering the hobby, and even helpful for, you know, more experienced people like me. I have several hot swap boards. You know, one or two of them are virtually just like test benches, right? Like you can test things on them. And that's helpful in its own way. Going to be kind of a nightmare to make sure these are all in the same amount. This plate does not make it very easy. I wish the plate were a little bit firmer. I think that would help a lot. Maybe the plywood one I think is a little firmer. That one might be a little bit easier to build with. But this one looks so beautiful. Probably widen the switch holes a smidgen to make it easier to build. I mean, the switches are... So, like, the switches go into the plate just fine. It's the fact that it... like, the holes aren't too tight. I think the holes are actually, like, pretty much perfect. It's just that, you know, when you put a switch in, obviously, around where you're putting the switch in, it pushes the plate down. And even when it's fully into the PCB, you have to pry the plate back up to, you know, actually surround the switch in the proper way. Certainly not the first time that I've seen this. Obviously, this happens pretty much every time with you know, a lot of like thin polycarbonate plates, and even some palm plates as well, depending. I think I was just under the impression that it was going to have less give and I should not have been under that impression. Yeah, like more like stability. But that's okay. It's fine, it just makes the building process a little bit longer. But that's okay. I'm not in a rush anyways, so we good. We good. Yeah, it is getting easier though. The more switches you get into this kind of plate, the easier it gets, which is nice. The edges might be a little tricky, but should still be pretty cool either way. Apiary Keyboards is rating. Holy crap. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Apiary. Hope you had a fantastic stream. What were you up to today? And welcome all you new people. Thank you for sticking around for that raid. I wish I was doing something like hyper interesting or like super amazing and epic, but I'm testing out a new wood tray mount plate, custom cut fixed layout, cherry veneer, with resin. So it's a very unique plate, and I'm going to be putting it in my lovely Ultra Hot Fjell. So pretty awesome stuff. Thank you again, Apiary. Appreciate that. Kendo prototype? Who's building a Kendo prototype? Alright. I shouldn't have streamed. I should have just watched that stream instead. I've been pretty hyped for a while for Kendo. Does that mean the PCBs are finally finished? Because I feel like that's what we were waiting on for the longest time. Man, Kendo prototype. I'm jealous. But I'm also happy that you got to build one. That is super interesting. This is pretty interesting. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it's probably not as interesting as a Kendo prototype. But I'm still pretty interested in this because I feel like wood is an underrepresented material in the keyboard hobby. You know, we're all about fancy metals and plastics and things relating to that, but very rarely do we actually use wood. So yeah, for all of you that are sticking around, once again, welcome to kind of my first installment of Mental Health Monday. I don't want to necessarily call it a series so much as an idea to kind of promote mental health awareness and positivity and wholesomeness. And, you know, we try to just chill out and relax and have a good time and do some keyboard stuff, whether that's just me doing it or if you guys are joining me as well. Alongside, maybe you have some keyboard things to work on of your own, or you're just chilling. I broke the plate. There we go. Very, very tiny break. Shouldn't actually affect anything, but I was expecting to break the plate at some point, so I'm surprised it took me this long. But that seems like a very inconsequential break, at the very least. Alright, we almost have all the switches in. This is going to be the first time in a while I've completed a keyboard build, and I actually have no idea what it's going to sound like when it's done. I have zero idea what this is going to sound like. It could be absolutely amazing. I did pick the Fjell because I only have a small handful of tray mounts. But it's probably like my best tray mount, I guess. My nicest, my most premium, my probably best sounding tray mount. Yeah. I mean, I have the other Mechanisk tray mounts as well. I have the Klippa, a couple rounds of it. I have the Type X, which is pretty awesome in its own right. But I mean, with the Mechanisk lineup, the Fjell is kind of the coup de grace tray mount. So that's what we're going with today. And I think the wood will look really nice on the E Ultra Hot as well. You're jealous while sat in front of that epic Allison. I'm jealous of that. Okay. All right. You know what? You're right. The Kendo prototype is amazing, and it's super awesome. But so is the Allison prototype. This board is really something special as well, and I've been using it for about a week. I think this was I built it last Monday, sometime in the last week. I think it might have been last Monday, and I've been using it since. And this board really does it for me. I got to be honest. There's a couple boards that really do it for me, but this is certainly one of them right now. Wouldn't happen with metal. You're right. You're not wrong at all, man. You're not wrong at all. That's okay. We're real keyboard builders. I've been in this hobby long enough to know that I'm gonna break lots of things, and I already have broken lots of things, and you kind of just move on. Alright, I got to... Oh, I changed the layout, that's why I have a switch to spare. That makes sense. I was trying to figure out what went wrong there. But I forgot I went from split backspace to normal backspace. Which should make Leandrin happy. Leandrin of Mechanisk, of course, because he was about ready to shed a tear when I built with split backspace in his lovely Fjell. Well, my Fjell, but his design. You get the idea. Make sure to hydrate, guys. What has such interesting acoustic properties. Yeah, and I like I mentioned earlier on the stream, I've typed on wood plates before. I've used wood cases in the past, and I think at least 1 or 2 wood plates. And to be honest, they didn't really sound that great. So I was a little hesitant to check these out, but you know, at the same time, we got to be open to new experiences. And this one's a little different, obviously, being the kind of resin cherry veneer hybrid. But I mean, it just looks gorgeous, right? And I hope in a board like the Fjell, which is just, you know, a sheer insane amount of metal for a 60%, should give it kind of a deep, punchy enough tone. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm expecting this to be kind of loud, but we'll see. We'll see. I have lube creams in here, of course. So yeah, there we go. Looks like I got all the switches in, so we can probably begin soldering now. I love a good combo of wood and metal. This is going to be sort of a new one for me. I've used so many boards, but somehow I haven't used this kind of combo before. Oh yeah, I gotta solder. I'm so excited to put this in. I need to remember to solder first. Let's go ahead and warm up my iron here. While I take a look at chat and grab my awfully, terribly kind of disgusting solder mat. I say disgusting, but really the only what the heck? Streamlabs, please. Okay, I say disgusting, but you know, it's kind of just flux. There's like I've used this to solder for, gosh, at least a couple years now, and there's just flux everywhere. It doesn't look pretty, but it doesn't need to. It's just a little mat to protect my my actual desk mat here from getting solder and or flux on it, or just burning it, because I'll be honest with you guys, I've burnt a few desk mats in my collection. I'm not happy about it. Alright, so we're going to solder this up and throw some keycaps on it and see where that takes us, know what I'm saying? Can you describe the sound profile that a wood plate might have? I wish I could. I mean, it really depends on... Keyboard sound is a really complex thing, and I feel like a lot of people tend to oversimplify it by being like, this switch sounds bad, or, you know, this plate material sounds bad, this, you know, this or this like individual particular thing sounds bad, but that's not how sound works in keyboards at all. sound is without a doubt like the full sum of its parts, and literally every aspect of the keyboard makes a difference. You know, the plate obviously makes a difference. The switch obviously makes a difference. What makes as much or more of a difference is the actual housing itself. What's the mounting style? You know, how much metal is, what materials are the case? How dense is it? You know, are there any features that could affect acoustics on the case? You know, what kind of gaskets are used, if there's gaskets? You know, how many mounting posts on a tray mount are you going to use? Are there flex cuts in the PCB? Are you using a desk mat? Are you in a room with good acoustics? Everything is going to, you know, change the sound of your board. And I feel like to generalize and be like, you know, this material sounds bad or this switch sounds bad is really not the way to go about it, and it's an incredible oversimplification that I feel like kind of only hurts our community. You know, unfortunately, it's a complex thing, and it kind of has to remain a complex thing. So I don't know. I don't want to guess like how it'll sound. I think it'll sound somewhat loud, and I think it'll sound like maybe somewhat like deep, maybe even a little thocky. But with that said, I kind of have no idea. Usually I have a pretty good idea of what a keyboard's going to be like when I complete it, but I don't really know what this is going to sound like. So it should be kind of an adventure for all of us. Before I actually start soldering this, I need to do two things that I am a little sad I almost forgot to do. So I'm actually just going to turn my iron off for now. I'm going to do two things, really good practices to get into for all you new builders that might be watching right now. Couple things you want to do. When you have a plate and PCB assembly together, what you want to do is you want to eye down the lines of the switches, eye down the rows. That way you can tell my PCB and or plate is actually a little bent, a little warped, so it kind of bows a little bit. But you want to look down the lines here. Obviously you can't really see what I'm seeing, but if you kind of look down the lines here, you can see if any switches are kind of out of place. Some of them might be up a little too high, you know, maybe not oriented quite correctly. This is a really good way to find out any that might be having issues. Like this particular one here is not in the plate all the way. Now it is. Really easy to see once you're eyeing down the rows like this. So that's why I like to do this. Also, after you've done that, you want to take a look at the back and make sure all your pins are through your through holes here. There's few things worse than soldering one pin of a switch and then noticing that the other pin is bent, so that you can't actually, like, you know, continue on with the build until you desolder, fix that pin, or swap the switch, and then resolder it. So it's one of those things that just sets you up for success. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure all of these pins are poking through. Again, really easy to do with your face right in front of it. Super duper easy. All right, they're all through, which is good. Try to kind of push down and make sure we have some consistency here. All right. Don't forget to remove the excess beard hair. It's okay if you have a little beard hair in there. That's like pretty normal, but you don't want excess, right? All right, things are looking good. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to solder in here. And again, to all of you people that maybe have just joined from the raid or otherwise, welcome to my Monday stream, Mental Health Monday, where we just hopefully have a good time and spread some positivity and love and wholesomeness, and you know, hopefully you guys are having a good time and a good day. We share stories as well, so you know, if you have any mental health stories or advice, whether the stories are both positive or kind of negative, it's okay. This is a safe space. You can let things out. We're all in this together, right? I have this at 400, and I have no idea why. I think I was doing something with it last that required higher, but I usually solder at 350. Yeah, 400 is kind of excessive for keyboard switches. Do I have a PC Clippa? One of the best sounding boards I ever had, regardless of mount type. I actually don't. I have a round 1 Clippa and a round 4 Clippa, or round 5. I think it was round 4. Whenever the Ultramarine launched, the 4-post tray Ultramarine, I have one of those. So I have two Clippa, not a PC one. They're both aluminum. But I believe it. I have no doubts that the polycarbonate Clippa is also quite good. Does not surprise me at all. And guys, of course, if you have any questions for me at all, be it keyboard or otherwise, please feel free to ask, especially while I'm soldering. It's an excellent time to ask questions or share stories. How are you today, man? I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing pretty good. I mean, we got this stream going on. I'm feeling good. I had some technical difficulties before the stream, so I didn't quite get as much done beforehand as I would have liked, which is why the people at the beginning of my stream kind of had to watch me desolder this with the other plate and lube stabilizers. Both things I try to get done before streams, because I know they're not particularly exciting to watch. But sadly, I didn't get those done in time, so I had to do those on stream. So, once again, apologies to those guys that sat through that. I know it wasn't exciting. But now we're getting to the more fun parts. The completion of the build. I also gotta figure out what key set I'm gonna put on here. Do we put Cafe back on here? Which I think is uncommonly sexy on E Ultra Hot, surprisingly so. Or maybe I have something else on deck. I don't know. I'll have to take a look through my collection here. You raw dog in the flux? You know it, brother. You know it. Cafe Brothers. Hey, man, Cafe is amazing. GMK Cafe is a sublime set. Thought I finished this row. I'm imagining things, guys. That's what I'm typing on these days. Silver JO2 plus Infinity Cafe. I'm gonna dock you a couple points on the Infinity Cafe because I think the GMK version is superior. Go figure, right? But that's just me being silly. Can't wait for round 2 of Cafe. I think round 2 of Cafe will be like banging. Like, I know the first round like did okay, but it didn't really seem to sell like insanely well, I don't think. I imagine a round 2 at this point in the keyboard hobby will just slay it. It'll sell so many units. My head in the way. I have a tendency to always get my head in the way. What other key sets or keyboards are you guys looking forward to? Anything on the horizon you guys are looking out for? What's the hotness these days? I feel like I haven't necessarily been away or out of keyboards for a while, but I've been like kind of half away. I've been, you know, dealing with real life stuff, and I just haven't had as much time to put into keyboards as I once did. So I'm trying to like slowly work my way back into it practically. But I don't really know like what's kind of on the horizon these days. I stopped following key sets a while ago because there's so much drama now behind GMK and colorways, and there's just so much hate and toxicity. And it's just, I don't know. To me personally, just to me, I don't want to generalize here, but to me, just the colors are just not important enough to like ever argue over. You know, take that with a grain of salt because I'm partially colorblind. I buy key sets, you know, based on things like the theme and like who designed them, maybe who's running them sometimes. Yeah, I just don't really care anymore about key set colors. Which is probably good because I tend to buy fewer key sets this way. Tomo. I know Tomo is super hype lately, right? Who in here is going for Tomo? Well, you motivated me to work on a keyboard too. I hope you're proud of yourself. I am. That's part of this, right? It's part of the journey. Come along with me. Let's do some keyboard stuff. Because like I said at the end of the stream, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, it's really hard for me to do keyboard stuff right now. And like, it's not that I don't want to, because I still enjoy keyboards. I still love using keyboards. I love the feel of them. I love the sound of them. You know, I'm never leaving the keyboard hobby. But like, for mental health reasons, or sometimes even otherwise, you know, I don't have the time or energy to like lube switches or like always build a board or something. So, you know, the mental health Monday is as much of an excuse, you know, of anything for me to kind of get on top of it myself, you know, and kind of work through a lot of the stuff that I have to do, because I have so much to do, guys. I have so much to do. Like, you see all these keyboards behind me? You see these? Almost every single one of these keyboards is getting it rebuilt. Almost every single one of them. You know, only 2, maybe 3 are probably not going to get rebuilt. But yeah, I mean, there's like 30 plus keyboards here. All of those are getting rebuilt. And, I mean, someone's got to lube switches. I'll probably try to outsource some of my lubing. I'll probably do some of it myself. Kind of depends on the board and what I'm going for. But, it's bad. You can't even, that's the stuff you can see. There's stuff on the ground here that I was showing off earlier. There's several boards down here that need to be built as well. Over here too. My Heine TKL1 is down there. My new polycarbonate Sirius is down there. My Prophet is untouched, man. These things need to get built. I just have so many awesome boards, and so many of them need to either be built or rebuilt. But it's tough because very rarely do I want to spend 3 hours lubing switches. It's just like, I do so much other stuff and I have like no energy to lube switches. So that's why I sent a few hundred switches over to Laglandia. I'm gonna see how he lube switches, see if that's any good when they come back. And if I like the result, then I'll probably send him a few hundred more. So yeah, my desoldering gun and my lubing brushes are gonna see a ton of work coming up. So this kind of Monday, it's kind of a roundabout to get to this, but this Monday, or Mondays in general moving forward are kind of gonna be like my for sure dedicated day of like, I'm going to get on stream. I'm going to do something keyboard related, whether it's lubing switches, building a board, rebuilding a board, desoldering a bunch of stuff. You know, maybe some key set or switch organization, maybe just talking about keyboards. You know, all while just hanging out with you lovely people, of course. And you know, hopefully that'll be a good time, and that'll give me, you know, at least a couple hours a week, 2 or 3, 4 hours a week. Where like I'm pretty much guaranteed to get something keyboard related done, and that's really what my collection needs, because you know I feel bad for a lot of these boards. You know, a lot of them are unbuilt, a lot of them need to be rebuilt, or even just tuned up. Waiting for my Wyvern to show up later this year. I feel like I've heard of the Wyvern, but I don't remember what that is. S.A. Copper is sick. Nice. Tomo, yep. Dracula cries. Well, at least you're crying alongside a lot of other people. Hopefully it'll just be like a home run, right? Like you'd hope after this long, after this much color matching, it's just gonna completely be a stellar set. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. I'm not in that group buy. It wasn't my favorite colorway. It was a little too much for my eyes. I tend to prefer a lot more of the boring stuff. I like white on black and classic beige/white. A true man of culture. True man or woman of culture there. GMK Boho looks great. I have not seen that yet. I am so out of the key set realm right now. I have like no idea what's happening ever. So I spend every dollar on keyboards instead. I prefer to spend money on keyboards because typing experience is more important than colors for me. Mental health tip for keyboards: forget all of your GBs. Really, it's so silly to think that, but like it's true too, because I do the same thing. I put my money in, and I choose my options, and I wait, and then I usually forget about it, and then like I'll get tracking, and I'll be like, oh, cool, forgot about that. Like I think I'm in like 10 key set group buys right now, and I probably couldn't even tell you more than like 3 of them. I can't remember. I just straight up can't remember. I'm in like 1 or 2 keyboard group buys, I think too, and I can't remember which ones they are. I could go look. It's not that I couldn't go look. It's that it's almost just more fun to just be like, oh, something fun is showing up. Let me carve out some time for it, you know? It's like Christmas. Oh man, I gave into the Tomo FOMO. How you doing, Keep New? Glad to have you around. The Tomo FOMO. I feel like people are gonna miss out on the board just so they can say that, because that's just too much fun to say. Sorry it's taking me so long to solder here, guys. I wish Switch Dr. AU was in the US. I would send her all of my switches. Oh yeah, is she like god tier Switch luber? Because I'm okay I'm okay shipping internationally if I need to, you know. Legolandia, Bestlandia. I'll agree with you on that. Sovereign, thank you so much for the sub, man. Been a while. Hope you're doing well, man. Wyvern is a Southpaw keyboard without an F-row. That's right. Hey man, I am down with Southpaw stuff. As you can probably tell from this Allison prototype, I'm a big fan of a Southpaw styled stuff. Also, I'm left-handed. and I'm a gamer. So any additional space on the right side of my setup for my mouse, you know, I'm all about that. Give me more of that. Sean DePalsy with a phenomenal question. What criteria do you use to determine if a board needs to be rebuilt? So I feel like there's probably not like a super easy answer for this, but I'll try to give you a couple. One, the stabs started rattling and they need to be relubed. Two, I've used the board. This is probably more applicable to most of these. I've used the board enough. I've experienced the board enough with the current configuration, often the initial configuration that it was built with. And I just want to try something new. Like a lot of you guys, it's been a while since I built it, obviously, but some of you might remember my Iron 165. I have a Plum Iron 165. Amazing board. One of my favorite boards in my collection. I have some lubed and filmed mobs in there. Decent switch. Doesn't sound the best. But the board wasn't designed for linears in mind. It was actually designed around mild tactility, mild tactile switches. That's how the board, from the designers, it was designed. And I'm one of the people that really likes to kind of respect how like a board is visioned most of the time. So like if a board is designed to be used a specific way or like in a specific setup configuration, I'm usually trying to hunt that out more, because I feel like if people really went, designers in particular, if they put the extra effort in, they really go the extra mile to design a board to like be a specific way with a specific configuration, I think that's super awesome. And it really shows like not only attention to detail, but like a level of passion, I feel like, for the product itself. And that's always awesome to see. Like this board right here, the Allison. Ever since I built it, I've been getting daily messages from Mr. Petrov. Hey, can you try this? Hey, can you try that? What do you feel about this? And I feel like it's that level of enthusiasm and like desire and happiness behind a product that really kind of, you know, it goes into the soul of the keyboard, as it were. That's how I see it, at least, you know. You know, with that said, I have an awesome Iron 165, and the build is honestly lovely, but I do kind of want to give it the attention it deserves. I haven't used it in a while. The spacebar stabilizer rattles a little bit on the left. I kind of want to relube that, which I could do without rebuilding it, but like I want to put tactiles in it anyways. I have some switches right over there, ready to be lubed for that board. So actually, no, I think I decided against those. I think the switches that are for my Iron are actually with Langlandia right now. So that should be pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, that's just one of, like I was showing, like at least 30 boards that need to be, you know, built or rebuilt. I use need very loosely there, obviously, but you know, I'm all about experiences. I'm all about variety. So if I can try more things, different things, that's knowledge, right? Knowledge is power. Experience and knowledge are what you need in this hobby to really get the most out of it, in my experience. Sorry for getting sidetracked, guys. I'll finish this, I promise. That really is a fantastic question, though. Thank you for asking that. Static Gauge says, I was happy to get in on the wild-ass CRP Xerox set. That should be fun to put something on. Yes! Yes, love seeing... And Enjoy PBT has one on KBD Fans right now, right? Another Xerox-style set. Love seeing that, because that's, for me, that's a throwback from many years ago. When I got my first Brown Alps board, my first SKCM Brown Alps board to desolder and later put into a custom. So I was a big fan. That was my first Alps board to desolder. It was the Xerox Daybreak or DocuTech or 6085, depending on where you're looking. Certainly a piece of history. But yeah, with that board came some really interesting, awesome-looking keycaps. So I'm glad to see that that kind of style and design has been modernized a bit. Get all your GBs and then move. that's what I've done a couple times, actually. I maintain a spreadsheet of shame to track all incoming stuff. I used to have a spreadsheet for stuff, but I think these days I have more fun not having it. J Chef says, gotta run, but we'll check out the VOD for this plate. Stay chill, friends. Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate that, and the subs as well. Have a good night, man. And I'm gonna stay chill. Not just because you told me so, but in addition to. Alright, last row, guys. Just a few more switches here. Alright, well that should wrap up the soldering, hopefully. We'll know pretty quick if I made a mistake. But come on, guys, I don't make mistakes. Who does that? Right? I love this desk mat so much, and I just washed it, and it's like already getting dirty again, and I'm sad. Def got to build a board how it was designed. Yeah, and I think it's totally fine to not do that as well, right? Like, it's two sides of the same coin, and neither is necessarily right or wrong. But another example would be my my tin down there. You know, the design process was envisioned with a carbon fiber plate. However, he also offered it with, it was either copper or brass, and I think there were other extra options as well. Which I'm sure are all good or great. But the board was designed for carbon fiber. So I went with the carbon fiber because the board that he is designing and manufacturing and shipping to me, you know, I want to be able to use what he envisioned for the board. I want him to use, I want to use the board the way he wants me to use the board, right? I think it's just, it's kind of like a sign of respect in a way. But also, you often get the best out of a board by doing that as well. Like Max with Profit, he recommends linears on the polypropylene plate. Yep, and you know what? I have a Profit right down there under my unbuilt Sirius in that case. I have a polypropylene plate. Bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be using linears on it. I thought I was done with boards, but I really do want an Allison. Yeah. I feel like I'm going to... Boards of, like, this caliber, I'm going to buy very, very rarely. I'm almost never, you know, going to buy, like, super high-end premium boards like this. But, you know, after using the Allison for the last week, and just seeing the kind of passion and effort that Mr. Petrov is putting behind it, really makes me want to buy this board, man. I really... This one's going to be a very hard one for me to say no to. I probably won't be able to. With that said, let's go ahead and open up. We'll do switch hitter. Open up a little key tester here, and yeah. So this one, there we go. Let's go ahead and test this bad boy, shall we? Before we put it in the case and put some keycaps on. Still need to decide what caps to put on it. Okay. Alright, well, the first one works, so, I mean, obviously we're good. We're done. It's all over. Pack it up. Easy victory, guys. Come on, guys. You don't think I'd actually make a mistake, right? I feel like I should move the Allison out of the way just for the sake of this stream. All right. Well, now that we know everything is working and functioning good, well, I guess, rather. We can put this bad boy in. Where did I put the screws? Put screws somewhere, didn't I? Oh, they're already in there. Okay, what am I doing? I forgot that I'm using 4 posts on this one, not 6. So this is one of the round 5, so it has the removable center posts. Remove those. Don't need those. And I already have the screws in there. So a pretty simple process on this one, thankfully. Magnetic screws, love to see that. I'll turn that off for you guys. You don't have to look at that anymore. Confirmed Quakemz is perfect. Am I? I certainly like to meme about it, I'll give you that. I wonder what switches Smith & Rune tested the iron with. Seems interesting that they're like mild tactility when the market is all about heavy tactility. You know, you think that, but I feel like the trend's kind of coming back around, right? Like I feel like earlier on in the keyboard hobby, you're right. It was all about, you know, the Holy Panda. It was like a revolution for a lot of people. No one had really used a switch like that. It was a high amount of tactility. Then the market was hit with Zelios V2. That was too tactile for a lot of people. I loved Zelios V2, by the way. But for a lot of people, that was even just too much. Too tactile of a switch. So it's kind of interesting. Actually, I'll grab the one of the switches I was thinking about using for the Iron 165. I know this is obviously a Fjell and wood plate build stream, but just a quick note on this. My Iron 165, I was recommended this combo. So these are blueberries, and this is, I don't remember what these are, but basically this is a JWK tactile. This is effectively a T1 or a koala, or I don't remember exactly what these are called. Someone could probably tell me in chat. It's a very particular color, but it's a JWK tactile opaque housing. You harvest the stem from this. And these are blueberries, but creams work as well. And you take the stem out of that, and you put the tactile stem from these JWK tactiles into the housing of the creams or blueberries. And that gives you like a very mild and very smooth tactile switch. I did put one together, and it felt like almost linear to me. So I'm still unsure if I'm going to use them. I might give them a try. However, I also came across some vintage MX Browns not too long ago, and I got some springs for those and sent that and some lube over to Lang, and he's going to lube those up for me. And depending on how those come out, those might actually go in my iron, because I feel like a vintage Cherry MX Brown could be a cool switch for the Iron 165, depending on how they come out. If I don't like the way those come out, or if I don't like the way they feel on that board, I'll probably attempt to go for this. I still need to build these and lube these, so that's, you know, another journey for another time, I suppose. Come on. Alright. What keycaps are we putting on here? Do I put Cafe back on here, guys? I guess I could take a look at my collection. I feel like so few colors, like, are like a really amazing idea with the E Ultra Hot, which is, as you can probably tell, a very particular color. But I happen to absolutely love it. I'm going to put these in, but I'm not going to tighten them all the way because I need to adjust the plate a bit to try to make sure all the corners are even. Quakemz is truly perfect. Am I? Kappa? Iron 165 built for stock cherry browns. I mean, you joke, but I'm gonna put obviously modified cherry MX browns in mine. All right, this looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit more to the left. Sorry if my head's blocking the way, guys. I want to try to get this as accurate as I can. Okay, I like the way that looks. Tighten these down now. Alright, so we got Cafe. Let me take a look at what we got here. I got my fantastic wrist rest. Cafe, still Cafe, but I'll need one or two keys from that. What else do I have here? I have Cat Alpha. That could be interesting. Oh, what the heck? I forgot I bought this. Okay, I have Cat Lich. Apparently I have Cat Lich. I don't know how I forgot I got that. Um, 8008? That could be interesting, I suppose. What is this? I have... What is this, guys? Bingsu? Is this Bingsu? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is GMK Bingsu. The legendary GMK Muted. How often do you see this one, boys and girls? Probably not very much. I have Botanical. This is like my favorite set of the year, and I've not even put it on the board yet. Honeywell. What do you guys think is gonna look good on here? What do you guys think? Just start throwing out sets, and you know I have quite a few. I have quite a few sets. I could always take one off another board. It certainly doesn't end here. I got Space Cadet. I got GMK White on Black. I have Dual Shot. I have GMK Bleach. There's Honeywell over there. We got 8008. GMK Cyan. I got some CRP Pink Japanese. GMK DMG. DCS Red Alert. I don't know if I want to use a DCS set on this board. I think I want to use GMK to start. Just, at least to start. Yeah. So let's go with one of those options, maybe. Obviously, there's Muted. There's a couple Cat sets. We could put cafe back on there. What do you guys think? I'm not gonna do a poll. I'm just curious to see what you guys think. That's Bingsu? Yeah, okay, Bingsu. Nice. Yeah. I forgot I had a couple of these, honestly. This muted has seen a lot of use. This is a well-used set of muted. I think GMK sounds a lot better than cat on this combo. Fair enough. I'll put the cat sets away then. Save those for something else. Shit, maybe I will do a poll. Dude, I can do a poll really quick too. Huh. I don't have a keyboard plug in. Do I have a mod? Do I have a mod in chat? Someone, can a mod make me a poll? I feel like I have no mods watching this, which is understandable because I wouldn't want to watch it if I were one of my mods either. Honeywell, CRP. I feel like the CRP pink Japanese could look okay. It's a very different pink, obviously. So that'd be kind of interesting. Honeywell, Space Cadet with Space Cadet could be kind of interesting. That's the thing, right? Like I feel like people spend so much time trying to like match colors, right? Like, oh, you got this key set, you got to put it on this board because like, you know, that's blue and that's blue or whatever. I don't think like that. I don't need that. In fact, I usually prefer either contrast or I prefer like a neutral colored set on a board that is like really vividly colored like this. This is obviously kind of a loud board in terms of color. It's yes, it really is this vibrant in person too, I promise. Look at that wood, man. That looks amazing. This actually looks really nice without caps on it. If you're going GMK, I think Botanical would look super cool. You think Botanical would go well with this? What do you guys think? I mean, I can't do the poll. Crap, I have no mods in chat. I need a keyboard. I need to plug in a keyboard so I can post a straw poll. Least prepared streamer of all time, man. Worst keyboard streamer. Alright, straw poll. What key caps? What are we doing? We'll do botanical. We'll do muted. We'll do whoops. Whoops. Key caps. Try this again. I swear I know what I'm doing. Botanical. Muted. What else we got? We'll do cafe. I don't know, Bingsu? I guess Bingsu look interesting. I'll try to keep it like relatively small. We'll do like 8008. We'll do those 5. Those 5 will probably be enough. Alright, I'm gonna share this in chat here, guys. Vote in that straw poll, please. Everyone, please vote in that straw poll, and we can figure out our keycap destiny. Is it sad that I have 0 mods watching? Is that a bad thing? Usually you want at least 1 moderator to stream, right? I feel like white on black and black on white are always cop-outs since they look nice on everything. It's true. And, you know, muted is kind of the same, too. I love muted. Without a doubt, one of my all-time favorite sets. Definitely top 5, maybe even top 3. It's an amazing set, but it is very neutral. But I tend to like the neutral stuff, especially on vivid colored boards. But, you know, with that said, I've been using cafe on it, and the cafe was looking spectacular on this color, in my opinion. So, I don't know, we'll see. I think it looks amazing without. I wish I could type on it successfully without caps, because just being able to appreciate the aesthetic of the wood plate with the creams and the ultra hot is actually a much nicer combo than I was expecting. Lunar Sama says mod me. I Maybe I should mod some people for the stream. I have more mods than I need for the Discord. I don't ever really have enough mods for a stream though. But with that said, the streams are pretty small. I mean, it's very low viewer count. Usually nothing bad happens. I usually don't need a mod. But Lunar Sama, probably be. You usually watch a lot of streams, right? You're usually around. Probably would be. How do I do this again? Is it just slash mod? I think it's just slash mod, right? I think I modded you. I'm actually not entirely sure. I tried the slash mod command, which I'm not sure if it still works or not, but assuming it does, you're good. Oh, I see the sword. Okay, cool. Yes. Thanks for being here, Luna, and thanks in advance for any mod work. I know you're not very active in the Discord, but I know you're usually around in the streams, and that's totally fine. Shonda Policy says, I like loud sets on plain colored boards and plain sets with loud colored boards. Exactly. That's completely how I usually do it too. As you can probably tell from a lot of the combinations behind me. I don't think it matters. I watch Liskits and she doesn't have mods that often either. Yeah, I very rarely actually need mods in streams, honestly. It's just a lot of the times when it'd be nice to have a mod do a straw poll if I don't have a keyboard plugged in while I'm doing a build or something, you know? Mod check. Siege you later. Nothing against you, man. Nothing against you. I don't really know you. And Lunar has been watching and supporting streams for many years now. So yeah, I gotta trust the boy Lunar on this one. Rip no Honeywell. Well, I mean, you can always use Honeywell too. Oh, I didn't even add Honeywell to that. I'm sorry. Does everyone want Honeywell? Do I have to redo this straw poll? How about this? We'll do another quick straw poll after this one. We'll take the one winner from this straw poll and we'll do it tournament style against Honeywell, and whoever wins out of that. How about that? Because I know a lot of people do like Honeywell. Honeywell, another top 3 set for me. Definitively one of the best. Right now, 8008 is winning. Very few votes have come through, so if you actually care at all, please feel free to vote. 8008 is currently at 4 votes in the lead. Nothing else has above 1 vote, so that just goes to show you how popular I am. Yeah, 8008 with a 4x lead at the moment. You missed the link? Okay, I'll send the link. I'll paste it again. I did only paste it in kind of one instance, so give you guys another chance there. There's the link one more time, guys. Please vote on that. You know, I'll probably wait 1, maybe 2 more minutes, and then we'll take the winner of that. We'll put that up against Honeywell, and then we'll know what key set we're throwing on this bad boy. Lunar, would you mind doing a straw poll, or at least opening up a straw poll and putting Honeywell against whatever wins against this, which we will know in just a second. Alright, so we got, again guys, we got 8008, we got Botanical, we have Muted, we have Bingsu, and we have Cafe. And then whatever wins out of this in just a minute or so, we'll put up against Honeywell, which several of you seem to want. And then we'll decide that way. I think any of it will look good. I think Bingsu would actually look really nice on here. Muted would obviously look fantastic because it's muted. Cafe, I thought Cafe was absolutely perfect on this. But I'm okay with some variety as well. You guys know that. 8008 probably wouldn't look the best on here, but a lot of people seem to want to see that anyways. Hyperfuse Origins in your top 3. Interesting. Yeah, that's a cool set. Out of all the GMK Hyperfuse, I think Origins is probably the best. At least in my opinion as well. I actually, to be honest, I kind of liked some of like the really unpopular ones. Was it Redux? Hyperfuse Redux. I actually thought was pretty nice. Nobody liked that set, it felt like. Alright, well, we still have 8008 leading, still at 4 votes, so apparently that's going to be our winner out of this batch. So we'll do 8008 versus Honeywell. Feel free to throw that link up a few times in chat, Lunar, and we'll do these keycap thing. So I put those back in here, I guess. Alright, so vote on that link, guys. 8008 versus Honeywell. What are we putting on this bad boy? I have to take Honeywell. Actually, regardless of which option is chosen, I have to take it off another board. So vote on that, guys. Vote on that. Mally also says Hyperfuse Origin is amazing, up there with Honeywell. Wow. I actually didn't know Hyperfuse Origins was such a like a well-liked. Like, I know it was somewhat popular. I feel like I haven't heard anyone talk about it in so long. It's interesting. All right, so we'll give this until 6:36 Pacific. So probably like a little over a minute for this poll. Please feel free to vote on that. And hydrate as well. Eight votes. Come on, guys, get in there. We're at 50-50. We need some votes here. If it stays at 50-50, should I just do like half 8008, half Honeywell? I feel like that trend of using 2 or more key sets is starting to come back. I've been seeing a couple people now split their boards even, which I never would have expected. Yes, do it. I feel like that's it's such a bad idea. Blue 8008 from round 2 was really nice. I kind of regret not getting in on it. Yeah, this is round 1, by the way. Obviously, I don't think the second one is shipped yet. Alright, less than a minute left. Pretty soon here, guys. Honeywell is now currently leading. Do it, but by rows instead of split down the middle. Oh man, that'd be so terrible. It just never looks good, right? Like I feel like mixing key sets in that way, at least, like rarely looks good. I think sometimes I feel like you can get away with like doing alphas from one set and mods from another, for example, or like maybe you throw on some accents here and there. I think that can often work, but I feel like any other way, like the whole like 50-50 down the middle or like by row or column, I feel like it often just looks really terrible. Carbon with Boneyard half and half was the first I saw do that. Boneyard is really cool, actually. I like Boneyard a lot. Alright, it's 6:36 and Honeywell has officially won. So this is actually kind of 2 birds with 1 stone. Because Honeywell is currently on my box 75, which I need to desolder and send to Jay. I think did I say jail? Send to Jay. Jay's not in jail. Probably not, at least. So yeah, I have to take the keycaps off of this anyways, so this is kind of 2 birds, 1 stone sort of thing. I'm going to desolder this. This is actually going to be given away at some point. Not on today's stream, but this box 75 is going to be given away on an upcoming contest. You're going to say J01? I'm more of a J02 kind of guy. What the heck is in this? That needs to be washed. time to take off some caps. I guess I can just transplant a lot of this too. Not all of it, but some of it at least. Did I not just have the rest of my Honeywell? Where did I put that? I respect it. Yeah, JO2's just better, man. I'm telling you. But I'm also a 60% kind of guy, so it's probably not terribly surprising that I feel that way. $8008 with Honeywell mods. You're crazy. You guys are actually crazy. Actually crazy. Are bags truly the superior way of storing caps? I don't know, man. I don't like using trays because they take up a lot more space. A, they take up a lot more space. B, I never actually display my key sets unless they're on a keyboard. And if they're on a keyboard, I obviously don't need, I don't need a tray. And 3, hold on, there was a third here, but I'm gonna have to rethink about it. Oh, when you go to put keycaps away, who wants to actually sit there and organize them one by one to put them into a tray? You guys seriously do that? Do you guys seriously do that? I mean no offense, I mean no disrespect, but like, do people actually do that? I can't imagine being like, oh, I'm gonna swap caps today. Let me take them off this board, place them all perfectly in my tray, grab another tray of perfect keycaps, put those on my board, and then like people actually do that? Cause like, I got time for that. Into the bag they go. I think if you're totally the kind of person that has the time and the patience to display your keycaps and like, you want to kind of go that route, that's fine. I get that. But like, I feel like anyone else, like why not use bags, right? Like, I don't understand. Why wouldn't you use a bag? Or I guess like another hybrid solution, which would be something like this, which obviously is Kinetic Labs branded, but this is virtually a plastic container. This one has some like modular kind of walls, I guess. That you can kind of see them in there. You can kind of like place them all over. I have this set up to kind of hold 2 key sets right now. This is GMK Fuyu. I think this is Fuyu. I can't remember though. And this is like some like 9009 blanks or whatever. But yeah, this is kind of like a hybrid route where it's like it's a little bit better because obviously it's a plastic container. It's a lot more sturdy. And at least in this format, I can hold a minimum of 2 key sets per one, which is kind of cool. But yeah, this is kind of like the middle ground. I would never actually do key sets the way that a lot of collectors do, and like just place them like one at a time. I barely have the energy ever to lube switches. Like I certainly won't sort keycaps. Let's just say that. But if any of you in chat actually do that, I want to know, because I feel like very few actually do, and a lot of us just kind of assume that everyone uses trays like that. Or maybe I'm just totally out of my mind. Let me know, guys. Probably out of my mind. But that's partially why we're doing Mental Health Mondays. Thank you guys so much, by the way, for showing up, for hanging out, however short or long, as we come to the tail end of this stream. Finally coming up on the typing test, which I know a lot of you are looking forward to. Faster get out of a tray, I guess. But, like, you're losing all your time by putting them one by one back into your tray, right? To me, it's like, it's still a time loss. Derb says I'm offended. Yeah, I was able to get Boneyard Alphas, Umka mods, and Bone base a while back. If I remember correctly, it was a set that got me into GMK. It's not a bad set. Carbon is iconic. It's a very historical set that broke a lot of records when it was first launched in our community. And Boneyard, obviously a little different, a little bit newer, but I think I actually like Boneyard a lot more than Carbon. Carbon, this is a hot take, guys. I think GMK Carbon does not look good. Just doesn't look good. You know what does look amazing though? SA Carbon. Carbon, I think, is just spectacular in SA. I think the colors pop so much more on that style of ABS plastic versus something that has a little bit more texture. Yeah, I think SA Carbon is a legendary set. I think it looks amazing. GMK Carbon looks so boring to me. But Boneyard, I can do Boneyard. Boneyard is pretty cool. Oh, whoops. I'm supposed to put these on. What am I doing? Oh, wow. There's definitely going to be some flex here. That's cool. I mean, I was sort of expecting that, but I feel like there's going to be even more than I was expecting. I threw the rest of the caps in there. Gosh darn it. Oh well. This is what I get for trying to multitask. I'm not a very good multitasker, guys, I'll be honest. It's just not me. Jesus, look at... I hope the spacebar doesn't accidentally touch the case. I think there's enough clearance there, but man, this is flexy. We can bust out some accents and check those out as well. I'm just putting on these for the sake of just having them on. Nah, Fuyu. Was that not Fuyu? That was Fuyu, right? Noel! Oh my god. Yes, you're right. I'm silly. That is Noel. Yes, GMK Noel. Which is actually on my Tinder now. I like that set a lot. I just apparently can't remember the name. My goal is to have everything in JTK trays eventually. I have a couple JTK trays up there too. I still don't use them. Like, someone sent them to me like for free, which was awesome. And then like I just can't be bothered to put caps in trays. Like I'd rather spend my time doing other keyboard stuff than that. For some reason, Carbon was amazing in like 2017 to 2018, and then it wasn't. Color didn't change, but my opinion sure did. That happens too. I've gone through that with Pulse. I remember when Pulse, SA Pulse first ran. I know Mito is kind of a controversial topic for some of you. Despite that, I think he's done some really successful colorways. One of them being Pulse was super popular. SA Pulse was enormous when it very first launched. I mean, this was 2015, 2016 or whatever. It was enormous. And like I got in, round 2 launched, because it was so successful. They did a round 2. And then I was like, okay, yeah, let me get in on that. So I got in on that, and I liked it a lot. And then by the time it arrived, I actually didn't like it. Even before it arrived, I was like, I don't really care about it anymore. I didn't even open it. I sold it. I sold it to a friend at cost. And I hadn't even opened it. It was just like unopened. I was like, I don't really need it. I don't want it. Dat flex though. Can you guys see that? Look at that. Anyways. Wow. The space... Jeez, that's... How is there that much... Like, I know it's a 4-post tray, but, like, even that is, like, really... Seems kind of excessive, almost. I'm not even using any kind of, like, gasket or, like, covering for the posts. This is just going to be a genuinely soft typing experience, which I'm not opposed to. Just set this aside to desolder that soon too. Okay. What do I need it here? Yes. Okay. And tab. Where's my tab? Where's tab? Oh, that should be everything. Everything else should be in the bag. Sorry if that's loud, guys. Flexi wood, yeah, that's... I'm genuinely a little worried that the spacebar actually will bottom out against the inside of the case. Set that aside for later desoldering. Maybe I'll desolder that after the stream. Or next Monday. I feel like I'm missing a key this set. I think I'm missing the accent enter, which is very sad. I mean, I have these accent enters, obviously, but I'm missing the on-C accent enter. I apparently am just like a pro at losing GMK caps. Because this is like the second... This is... I'm okay with losing this particular cap. Like, it sucks, but like, it's better than losing a lot of the other ones. Alright. Caps lock action there. We need some 1.5U mods. Code, maybe. I don't know if there's another Windows icon in this. We'll trigger people here. We'll go mod pipe. Sorry in advance, but that's just how I roll. Ah, there we go. Don't need the code. We'll use the Windows icon. I know it's like the Windows 8/10 icon, which is not as cool, but I still prefer the icon to the code text, personally. Normal backspace. That's an interesting sounding backspace. Alright, what else do I need? I need FN. That's end. FN, where are you? How awful would it be if I had lost my FN key as well? Was FN in here? Am I crazy? I don't remember if I actually had FN on the other board. I'll be honest with you. I know I had the FN for this set. There it is. Dodging bullets, guys. Dodging bullets. So yeah, I guess I can't do the accent enter. I totally forgot that I don't have that. Oh, there it is. There it is. What else am I missing? I'm missing something from this set. I'm almost positive. I just don't remember what it is. But we'll take that. We'll take that. Oh, it's the escape. I'm missing the escape. Yeah, because there's the arrows. There's the other enters. I don't have a red escape. So there you go. Unfortunate. GMK Ashes shipped. Hyped AF. Nice, nice. If it's too flexy, you can add a standoff underneath the spacebar. Yeah. Oh, whoa. Well, that's a lot different than I was expecting. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and put these away. I'm not gonna do accents. I'd try the enter if I had the escape, but I have no idea where the escape is. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of raw dog it, I guess, on the key set. I mean, the case is beautiful enough, right? You don't want to take away from the aesthetic and the color of the case, because the case is just super vibrant, and I'm all about that. So that way it's still kind of like a neutral key set on my tab key. A neutral key set on like a more brightly colored board, which is like often what I do anyways. So yeah, we'll go sans accent on that. I need to find my escape, my red escape. I think it's probably around here somewhere. I kind of know what bag it might be in, ironically enough, but I don't want to dig for it right now. So this is okay though. We'll accept this. We're happy with this. All right. Well, we are pretty much wrapped up here for the build. I'm going to do a quick typing test for some sound while you guys hear this. Hopefully it's good. Judging by the mods, this is going to be a very interesting sounding board. I'll tell you that right now. Music. Let's go ahead and pause the music. Move my mic a bit closer here. Isn't it right there, my guy? Yeah, I'm blind, guys. I'm sorry. You wouldn't have this problem with trays. Oh, you really got me on that one. You really did it to me there. But still, even fumbling around for like 5 or 10 minutes looking for a couple keys is so much less of a time investment than like putting every single key in like the right place in a tray once you take it off of a board. Good one though. You did kind of get me on that one. All I'm hearing is cope. Fair enough. Fair enough. Damn, it looks super good. Heck yeah, thanks. Flip spacebar, because I'm all about that enlightened life. Normal caps lock, because I'm not all about that enlightened life. Wow, okay. Alright guys, let's type on this. This is going to sound very interesting. The spacebar, yes, the spacebar is like very quiet. It's like a very, very gentle, like, thump. I wonder... It's not that it sounds bad, it's just... It's a little reverby. It's very, very quiet, and it's kind of reverby. All the stabilized mods kind of seem that way. I guess that one sounds pretty precise. I guess that one does too. The backspace and the space just seem notably more dampened. I almost wonder, was there flex cuts in the spacebar area? Just built this and I already can't remember. Is there a flex cut here? Alright, there is. I think actually this might be the wrong idea. I think you actually don't want this flex cut here. Obviously, I'm just saying that without actually having experienced it that way, so I don't know if that for sure would make things better. But I think you don't need this flex cut. Because like it's already so flexy in this instance, at least. If I were using a 6 posts, I think this might make more sense. But because I'm using a 4 post, I think you don't need this cut. I think this actually makes it sound kind of awkward. I'm not going to say it sounds bad. It just sounds awkward. Does the other one have that too? The other one does. This one's a lot stiffer though. This is 3mm plywood rather, versus the 1.8mm cherry veneer with resin that we have in there right now. So this could be interesting too. I'm going to try this at a later date, not on today's stream, but this is a 3mm plywood plate. That should be pretty fun as well. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that cut's not needed. There's a lot of reverb too. I almost wonder if this would... There's a lot of reverb on like a couple of the mods. I wonder if that would be solved by having like just some like gasket coats basically for the standoffs. It's still pretty good, honestly. It's pretty good. I would say the backspace and the space area probably need a little bit of work. Which, I mean, ironically enough, is kind of like these are the most open points of the board. So I guess this is why this makes sense. The alphas, though, the rest of it sounds pretty good. It's kind of deep, slightly thocky, but like also a little poppy. It's almost like... I mean, it almost mimics like polycarbonate. It kind of has that like kind of subtle but deep pop, as well as the kind of softness and flex. I need to use this for a week or so. I'll use this for a week, and we'll kind of see where we're at. Maybe next Monday we'll do kind of like a I don't want to say an anthology, maybe, but like it'll be kind of like a Monday to Monday will be like kind of a storyline of sorts. You know, we can kind of do something on a Monday, and then next Monday when we do something else, we can also check in on kind of how we were and what we were doing last Monday. And I can use the boards for, you know, a week at a time. That's usually about what I do anyways. I'll just swap every Monday. Yeah, the alphas are pretty clean. I'm very happy with this. The awkward spacebar is really... this is probably the most hindrance of an otherwise pretty lovely build. Not that it's bad, it's just, you know, quiet. A lot of people want a little bit more assertive of a spacebar, and I really do think it could be due to that flex cut. I do like the sound of the alphas. I think the alphas are great. Maybe not on this top row, but I think this is kind of just because of the Fjell, right? Like, the top row is always going to sound a lot different than the rest. I mean, on a lot of boards, to be fair, but I feel like tray mounts are kind of like that in particular, and particularly ones like the Fjell, which actually have, like, kind of, I think, like, somewhat small, I don't want to call them standoffs, but, like, parts of the case on the inside that you kind of rest your plate on. Or PCB, maybe. I don't even remember what rests on that. Yeah, like this row, the homing row sounds great. Listen to that. The standoff under the spacebar will stiffen up the plate enough to make it sound a lot better. I can believe that. But, like, that's like, it's a solution to a problem, like, that brings up another problem, though, right? Like, I don't want to have to use more than 4 posts in a tray mount. At least that's how I feel. Like, after you've used a 4-post tray mount, I really do feel like it's just a notably better experience than a 5 or 6-post tray mount. And so while, like, having the standoff under the spacebar might make it sound better, it's going to make it feel worse. It's going to make it feel more like a classic tray mount, which, you know, while isn't necessarily a bad thing, I mean, doesn't really invite quality, right? Like, 6-post tray mounts are kind of like the very lower end of the hobby. I'm not saying that tray mounts are, like, guaranteed low end or, like, bad or anything, because they're not. It's just simply not true. But the reality is tray mounts are a lot better now because, you know, we usually don't use 6 posts. We use 4, and we have better implementation of a lot of the things that we do now versus, you know, how things were 5 to 10 years ago. So we can definitely try it. We can try it with the mounting points in there, but I really don't want to have to add them because I feel like it's almost like a cop-out to add them. I don't know. I don't even know how to phrase it. I don't want to add them, though. I feel like the board will just feel a lot better and a lot more consistent with just the 4 posts. The spacebar standoff may not affect the feel at all because you have the flex cut PCB. I mean no disrespect, but I completely disagree just because of the mounting post is going to be right around here, right? Like right in this area. Look how much flex there is. This is the most flexy spot on the board by far. So like that's gonna go away. Like we'll probably still retain a little flex and a little softness like towards the middle area here. And then like maybe you know, maybe like around here, but I think we're gonna lose a lot of flex here. So yeah, you're right. That is a quick fix for someone that is okay with doing that. I don't know. I'm kind of greedy. Maybe I'm kind of an asshole. I don't want to have to add any more posts, just because I think the typing experience really is just better this way. With that said, I do think this came out pretty well, pretty successful, and you know, despite having you know, the very dampened spacebar and somewhat dampened backspace as well. This is probably less of a problem than the space. The rest of it sounds pretty good. If I'm being honest, I feel like it doesn't sound as unique as I was expecting on parts of the board. Like, I feel like if someone told me this was a polycarbonate plate, I don't know if I'd be able to tell the difference. Like in a normal typing like scenario, which is fine, I guess, because I like polycarbonate. Yeah, I don't know. This is good. This is cool. But maybe I was just expecting more difference, which is, of course, you know, on my end. That's all me. I think it looks spectacular, though. It's almost a shame we can't really appreciate the look of the wood with the caps on it. Because, like, my God, guys, like, right? Come on. I'm gonna take out more caps. I think the look of the wood is really kind of the shining highlight here. I think this is really beautiful with the E Ultra Hot. I love that wrist rest. You like that? It's my adorable Chi wrist rest. I love this as well. I just wish it was like a couple millimeters shorter. It's sized for a 65 instead of a 60, and that kind of bothers me because I almost exclusively use 60s. But yeah, look at that, guys. Try to get a little bit better light on this. Where did I get it? I got it in a group buy a couple years back on Geek Hack. They're hand painted wrist rests. They have multiple rounds. This was from round 8, I think. I don't know what round they're on now. I think every round has a different design though. So like this was unique to round 8. So you probably can't get this. You might be able to find one in the aftermarket, or you might be able to commission the user to do it for you. I believe it was the group I was run by Romeo on Geek Hack. I don't think he's the one that actually does the artwork, but he kind of coordinates the group buy. So you might want to get in touch with him, and you potentially might be able to figure out a way to get one. But other than that, I would say it'd be very hard, if not impossible. Anyways, yeah, take a look at this. Take a look at this. This is a weird thing to say on stream, but take a look at this wood. Look at that, right? That's pretty nice. You're welcome. Hopefully, I mean, if you can get in touch with them and maybe you can get one, that'd be cool. They might do custom requests. I actually have no idea if they do or not. This was part of like a produced round. Yeah, guys. So there you go. There's the cherry wood veneer with resin. That's our plate. Alphas sound pretty darn good. Mods sound fairly hit or miss. Spacebar, I think not having the flex cut in the plate for the spacebar, the relief cut there, I think that'd be interesting. Or maybe having it like a lot smaller at the very least could really benefit the sound here. Might be able to fix it with using a post, but I don't really want to use one of those posts because I feel like it just doesn't feel as good. After using, seemingly infinite amounts of 6-post tray mounts and several 4-post now, I can comfortably say that I think the 4-post ones really are substantially better. So there's my kind of closing thoughts there. But again, initial impressions, we just put this together, we just built it. I need a week with it to really kind of solidify my opinions. They might change, who knows. Alright guys, well now that we're kind of coming up to the end of this stream here, I'm going to pick someone to raid, but if you have any closing questions or thoughts or, comments, whatever, let me know before we head off. And let's find someone to raid as well. As I put these keycaps back on. I'm hoping to run a group buy for these plates, but definitely need to fix the issue that Quakemz identified. Stoked to get such valuable feedback from OG. You're welcome, man. Thanks for hooking it up and letting me try. I'm excited to try the plywood as well. Yeah, overall, I think it's super cool. I mean, I would probably buy one of these plates just because of the way it looks. I think this particular one, the plywood one, it doesn't look as good. Let's be real. But this one actually looks pretty superb. And I mean, I was saying that it very much resembles polycarbonate in my experience. That's not really a bad thing. I would say that's a good thing. I was hoping for a little bit more, maybe uniqueness and individuality, but that might have just been me kind of building a little bit too much or too different of a hype for this. But overall, I would say I'm pretty happy. If the spacebar issue Like if this could be fixed without having to add a post, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the case for the backspace. I can't quite tell if it's a plate issue, but the backspace sounds kind of similar to the spacebar as well, which is odd to me because the enter and the shift sound wildly different compared to these other two. I'm not really sure why. Not that it's bad, it's just kind of quiet. Lunar Sun is asking, would you think that a different mounting style for that wooden plate will affect the typing experience? Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's just like by default with any material though, right? Like you take aluminum, or you take brass, or you take polycarbonate or carbon fiber, you know, and you spread them across 4 different mounting styles. Like, even though you're using the same material, it's going to potentially feel and sound maybe pretty different even. And I would think that is probably just as true for wood as it is for any other material. At least that's what I would say. Obviously, I haven't tried wooden plates and other boards yet. This is like the most and the best wooden plate experience I've had so far. And I would like to see more. I would love to see a wooden plate that isn't tray mounted. I would love to have like a custom cut wood plate for, sheesh, I don't know, like my Polaris, or I'm trying to think of like what would be like actually pretty epic. Like my Polaris, or like my Clippa S, or maybe even something like the Tind would be potentially pretty cool. Like a non-tray mount option, like something that's like more premium, something that's a little bit more, you know, like a gasket mount, or, you know, maybe even like a top mount. It'd be interesting to see that. I feel like I mentioned earlier, wood is a really underrepresented material in our community. We almost never see wood in a keyboard. Like, really, we don't. Especially in any like premium keyboard group buy. Like, when was the last time you saw wood as a plate option, or, you know, even as a case option? It's very rare these days. There are several wooden tray mounts in existence, but I think that's about as far as it goes. So it'd be cool to just see more wood, whether you're using it as a plate or like an accent piece. I think it could be kind of cool too. I've often joked about using things like, I call them anti-weights. You could probably more appropriately call them accents though. I know it's an option on some duck boards, some aftermarket group buys. I think there's like wooden spacers or accents, whatever you want to call them. Like, obviously the Fjell is kind of defined by how large and heavy and kind of, you know, commanding it is, and part of that is thanks to this enormous brass weight that you can only see a piece of because the rest of it's inside, obviously. But like, if this were a wooden accent, for example, like, that could be kind of cool. Obviously it would reduce weight, but let's be real, weight is not the determining factor in how good or nice a keyboard is, and if you think that, then I pity you a little bit. These plates are handmade in the USA with a lot of steps, so yeah, it would cost quite a bit more than PC. In response to a question asking if it's more expensive, I mean, yeah, if you're gonna have something handmade in the US, it's just by default going to be more expensive than, you know, machine manufactured from China. That's just the way it is. Some people are okay supporting local, and some people don't care, and some people would rather, you know, save money and buy something from China, and I think all of those are probably valid. But yeah, no, I definitely think it would affect the typing experience. And, you know, with that said, I would freaking love to try more wooden plates. You know, in non-tray mount boards in particular. I mean, sure, they're fun in tray mount. It's, you know, accessible and a little bit more standardized. But maybe, what do you guys think? 2022, year of the wood, year of the hard wood. All right, who we rating? We got rated by Apiary today. That was awesome. I know she's probably not here, but thank you once again, and to any of you that stuck around from the raid, shout out to you guys. You guys are freaking awesome. Who we rating? I see Keeb Noob's live. She was in here earlier. Shout outs to her. Maybe we could raid her. Art Keebs. I think we rated Art Keebs not too long ago. Who else we got? Year of biodegradation. Alright. I'm just quickly browsing the Makers and Crafting channel. Stick around, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stick around for the raid at the very least. Maybe you can check out the channel that we're raiding. Maybe you'll like the content. And we'll try to send some love and positivity that way, you know, as this is a mental health stream of sorts as well. Yeah, we'll raid Keep Noob. Go with Keep Noob. I like Keep Noob. She's great. All right, guys. Well, that's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna head off. We're gonna raid Keep Noob. We're gonna go over and say something positive and wholesome and nice, whatever that may be. Even if it's just literally, quite literally, something wholesome. The words, something wholesome. Alright guys, stick around for this raid. Thank you so much for watching. Links down to my official Discord down below, as well as other things. If you want to contact me, you have any questions for me, you know, my Discord and my DMs are pretty much always open. So, you know, have at that. And I thank you guys so much again for watching. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. Join me next Monday at the same time, same place, and we'll be doing some more keyboard stuff. Also join me on Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific. Hopefully we'll be able to get a showdown on this Friday. Jay, my co-host, if you're new here, we talk about keyboards on Fridays. And as of last week, I guess, rather, I do keyboard streams on Mondays as well. So thank you guys all for joining. Hope you guys had a great time, and you continue to have a great time. And let's go over and say some nice things. All right, guys. Thank you so much.